Have you ever been walking home late at night and seen something you just can't explain? For me, that something was a bus stop. Not just any bus stop. This one wasn't on any map, and it only ever appeared at one specific time, 3:17 in the morning. It started a few months ago. I'd picked up a night shift at a downtown diner to make some extra cash. My walk home usually took me down an old, quiet street lined with shuttered shops and sleeping houses. It was always the same, predictable and silent. Until that one Tuesday. My watch read 3:16 a.m. as I rounded the corner onto Elm Street. The air was unusually cold, the kind that seeps into your bones. And there it was. A simple, old-fashioned bus stop, a green bench, a rusty signpost, and a small, glass-paneled shelter. I stopped dead in my tracks. I'd walked this route 100 times. There had never been a bus stop here before. The sign just said, "Next bus." No route number, no schedule. Just those 2 words. I glanced at my watch again. 3:17 a.m. A flicker of light in the distance grew steadily brighter. Headlights. A bus was actually coming. I should have kept walking. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to turn and run. But curiosity is a powerful thing. I stayed hidden in the shadows of a nearby alleyway, my heart thumping against my ribs. The bus was as strange as the stop. It was an old model, the kind you see in black and white movies with a rounded top and a single large headlight. It glided to a halt with a soft hiss of air brakes, but made no other sound. The engine was completely silent. The doors folded open, spilling a dim yellow light onto the pavement, and then I saw them. The passengers. They got off one by one. A young woman in a faded sundress, a little boy clutching a worn teddy bear, an old man in a tweed jacket. They all had the same vacant, lost expression in their eyes. They didn't speak or look at each other. They just stepped off the bus and walked away, each in a different direction, disappearing into the darkness of the side streets. Something about them felt familiar. I pulled out my phone and quickly searched for recent missing persons reports in the area. My blood ran cold. The woman in the sundress, her face stared back at me from the screen. Amelia Vance missing for 3 weeks. The little boy, Leo Carter, vanished from his backyard 2 months ago. The old man, Henry Gable, disappeared from a nursing home last year. They were all missing. Every single one of them. Before the last person stepped off, a few people who had been waiting on the bench got on. They moved just as silently, their faces blank. As the doors hissed shut, I saw the driver for the first time. It was just a silhouette, a dark shape against the interior light. The bus pulled away from the curb without a sound and vanished around the corner. I looked at my watch. 3:18 a.m. I blinked, and the bus stop was gone. The bench, the sign, the shelter, all of it had vanished as if it had never been there. Just an empty stretch of sidewalk under a flickering street light. I couldn't sleep that night, or the night after. The image of those lost faces was burned into my mind. I had to know more. The next night I left work early and went back to Elm Street, phone in hand, ready to record. I waited. As the clock ticked past 3:16 a.m., the chill returned. And just like before, the bus stop materialized out of the thin air. This time I was closer, hiding behind a large oak tree across the street. My hands trembled as I hit record. 3:17 a.m., the silent phantom bus arrived. The doors opened. New faces stepped out into the night. A teenage boy with a skateboard, a woman in a business suit, a man holding a single red rose. And just like before, they all matched the faces from local missing persons posters. I started documenting it every night. Each time the bus would arrive at precisely 3:17 a.m. Each time it would drop off a new group of the missing. Each time a few more lost souls would get on. And each time after it departed, it would take a different route. One night it turned left, the next it turned right, another it went straight on. It never went the same way twice. Where was it going? And where were these people coming from? Were they ghosts stuck in a loop? Or was this some kind of supernatural transport system for the lost? One night, a week later, I saw a face that made my heart stop. A girl no older than my little sister. She was wearing a bright yellow raincoat, just like the one Sarah had worn the day she disappeared 5 years ago. My hand shook so violently, I almost dropped my phone. It wasn't her. The closer she got, the more I could see the differences. But the resemblance was enough. A wave of grief and anger washed over me. I had to do something. These weren't just stories. They were people. People who were missed. People who were loved. The next night I wasn't there to watch. I was there to wait. I sat on the cold, green bench, my heart a frantic drum against my chest. The air grew cold. The stop flickered into existence around me. I looked at my watch, 3:16 a.m. I wasn't alone on the bench. A young man sat at the far end, staring blankly ahead. I recognized him from a news report. He'd gone hiking a month ago and never came back. I tried to speak to him, to ask his name, but he didn't respond. He just sat there, waiting. 3:17 a.m. The silent bus pulled up. The doors hissed open. I stood up, my legs feeling like lead. I had to know. I had to see where it went. For Sarah, for all of them. I took a step towards the open door. The light inside was warm, inviting. For a second all the fear vanished, replaced by a strange sense of peace. It felt right, like I was finally going home. But then I saw the driver's face reflected in the window. It wasn't a face at all. It was a swirling void, a patch of darkness that seemed to pull the light into it. And in that void I saw a flash of images. A lonely road, a dense forest, a vast, empty ocean. Places where people get lost. Places from which they never return. This bus wasn't taking people home. It was just moving them, a perpetual, pointless journey, a cosmic error. I stumbled back, tripping over the curb and landing hard on the pavement. The sound seemed to break the spell. The young man on the bench got up and boarded the bus without a glance in my direction. The doors hissed shut. As the bus pulled away, I scrambled to my feet. It turned left down a street I knew led to a dead end. I sprinted after it, my lungs burning. I rounded the corner, expecting to see it trapped, but the street was empty. The bus was gone. I stood there, gasping for breath as my watch clicked over to 3:18 a.m. I looked back. The bus stop had vanished. I never went back to Elm Street at 3:17 a.m. I quit my job at the diner and found one during the day. I don't know what that bus is or where it goes. Maybe it's a final stop for souls who can't find their way. Maybe it's something else entirely. All I know is that some mysteries are better left unsolved, and some buses are not meant to be caught. Every now and then, when I see a missing person poster, I think of them waiting silently on that spectral bench for a ride to nowhere. And I hope wherever they are, they eventually find their way home.